Thank you. All right, we'll now move into a period of election for the position of Student Services Chair. For those of you who are not familiar, elections go like this. There is a period of nomination, followed by in which an individual is nominated and they accept that nomination. Then there's a period of presentation by the order of nomination by those who are nominated to be the leadership position. Then there's a period of debate in the order in which the candidates were nominated that goes no longer than, I believe, 15 minutes. Everyone clear? I'll now open the floor to nominations, starting with Senator Argamany.
Yeah, I move to nominate Senator Victoria Clark.
Is there a second? There's a second. Senator Clark, do you accept the nomination? Okay, thank you. Chair Rivas.
Chair Rivas, yeah, I wish to nominate Grayson Blair.
Is there a second? Senator Blair, do you accept the nomination?
I do accept.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, I'll close the period of nomination. Now move into a period of presentation. So if the first individual who's nominated, which is Senator Clark, could please come forward. If you have a presentation, that's great. If the other nominee could please leave the room. The character witness is allowed to stay.
Yeah, character witness.
Yes. You'll have. Give it a shot. She'll work. Okay. So you have 10 minutes. Starting at Howdy. Senator Clark.
Okay, cool. Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Well, I am so happy to be standing.
Please stay in order.
Sorry. I'm so happy to be standing before you today. This is my second meeting in my second term, so that's exciting. So tonight, thank you. So tonight, I am standing before you, running for Student Services Chair. So a little bit about me, because I know a lot of you senators are new. I'm a political science major. Go figure. I'm from Swinney, Texas. If you probably don't know where that is, it's super small. It is south of Houston, and let me tell you how small it is. The only fast food restaurant we have is a Sonic. So, and then I also transferred from Stephen F. Austin State University my freshman year. So my freshman year I went there, and last year was my first year at Texas A&M. Glad to be here. Happy that I transferred. Okay. So I want to go into some of my involvements. First, I was in the Brotherhood of Christian Aggies last year. I was a pledge my fall semester, and my active member status started my spring semester, and I'm still an active member. I can tell you that being a part of a group of broken men trying to follow after Christ and trying to better each other has made me a better leader, and that is why partly I'm standing before you today, because of that. I was also in the Student Senate as an on-campus senator, so I was in the front where Josh is. And I was on the Community Relations Committee my first part of the semester, my first part of my term. I was a Finance Committee member when the then Finance Chair asked me to take on the position. And I was also Campus Climate and Inclusion Chair, which I don't know why I got up there. But that happened after the February 9th incident, after some comments were made to students that were coming and visiting. And so what my job was, and what my committee's job was to go out and talk to the students and get their testimonies and see how we can fix the climate at Texas A&M. And so that's my sophomore year. My junior year, again, currently I am still in DCA. I am an off-campus senator. I currently reside on the Rules and Regulations Committee. I have 2 university committees. I don't know why they're not up there. But the Rec Sports Advisory Council I'm on, and also the Student Health Advisory Board I am as well. So these, I have the ability to talk to administrators about student services, things that I'm running for. So what is student services? What are student services? Well, I guess the definition of student services would be anything that's non-academic. And so that is student health, that is rec, that is transportation, dining, parking, anything that has to do with that sort of thing. But I think that student services are important because when a student thinks about their ag experience, they don't truly think about, I guess, the academics per se, but they think about, do they have enough dining options? They think about, do they have enough parking so they can get to their class on time? And that is why student services need to be on point, because when the student service is on point, then the Aggie experience can be on point. So what does the student services chair do? So these are the things that it has to do with, I guess, in the code. So it presides over the meetings of the Student Service Committee, meets and keeps a working relationship with administrators, and then also directs SS policy in the Senate. And then most importantly, it acts as a resource to senators when they have bills that they want to do for student services. Because we want our bills to be well researched. We want them to be able to pass and be enacted by the administration. So we need somebody who has ties to the student services administrators. So I can tell them, Lord Senator, or anybody who has a student services idea, that maybe this won't work. Maybe tweak this and then this can pass. And so let's get into some of my policy goals. Now there are only a few here because I think it's important to keep your list small and so that these have a possibility of getting done this year. So my first and big one is I want to get the Walmart stop put back on the bus routes. I can tell you that last year I was a new senator. I was in on-campus center, like I told you. And when the transportation services came and said that we're going to take this stop off, I knew this was a problem because I knew international students relied on that. I knew that people who didn't have cars, people who are poor, and me myself, I relied on it because I didn't have a car my first year. So I know that people will say, oh, yes, their Target is still on there. Like you can still go to Target to get these things. But everybody knows that Target is not the most economical and that Walmart is a lot more affordable than any Target can be. So I think that this will help students. And so that is what I'm fighting for. That's what I'm going to fight for, is your student services chair. Next is informing people where you're supposed to sit on game days. I can tell you, I went to the Tennessee game, and we had so much frustration. People in front of me almost got into a fist fight. It was just terrible because people were sitting in the wrong place. They were standing in the wrong place. So if we could get together with athletics or get together with Tubman Foundation and put something out saying, reminding people where to sit and stand, I think that would alleviate a lot of that, and it would keep Aggies from getting in fights with other Aggies. So lastly, ticket forgiveness. And this is something I've talked with Landon Woods, who's the SS Vice President now. We talked about this, and a lot of cities have this where if you do some type of community service or you do some type of work for the city, that you can get tickets forgiven. And that's something that we're going to look into. We're going to ask other cities how they've done it. And this is something that we're planning on implementing in the next 5 years. And so those are my policy goals. And then assist any senator with their bills pertaining to student services. I talked about being a resource already. So my committee and administrative goals. Now, anybody that knows me and have known me last year knows that I love student outreach. I love engaging with students, talking with students, and getting their ideas. And I think that's important.
3 minutes.
And so, thank you. And so one of the things I want to do as student services chair is continue that. I want to continue to go to students and talk to them. I want to hold listening tours, meaning go to student organizations and they give me their ideas. I also want to encourage members of my committee to go and talk to students because I think it's that important. Next, I want to appoint a student services vice chair, and I want to do this for a main reason. The two big things that I'm wanting to focus on this year is I want to focus on talking with administrators, and I also want to focus on talking and engaging with students. And so in order to do that, some of the minute details are going to have to be taken care of by somebody else. And so what this person would do is basically take the role. They would act almost as a secretary in a way to help make sure that the committee runs right, and so that I can focus on these things that are important to me as a student services chair. I want to allow students to testify before the SS committee about student services issues, because I think that's important as well. That hadn't been happening. I want it to look almost like open forum for Senate. I want them to be able to come in and talk to us. And I also want to assign one or two committee members to a specific SS policy area. So I want to give 1 or 2 senators sustainability, 1 or 2 senators student health. That and it goes on like that. So that's what I'm planning to do. And it's not on there, but one of the main things I want to do is that I want to make sure that any legislation that comes out of my committee is well researched. Because I can tell you that students, the administrators are not going to accept any policy or any idea, any bill that is not well researched. They're going to look at it and say, okay, that's nice, and throw it out.
1 minute.
So that's something I'm going to want to do. So why should I be your student services chair? I understand how the Senate works and how the institution works. This is my 2nd term, so I've written bills. I have been on committees. I know how the Senate works. I already have working relationships with the current SS Vice President, who is Landon Woods. So we're just going to continue that relationship. He was the diversity commissioner when I was the campus climate inclusion chair. So we already have the relationship. I'm on 2 universities committees that deal with student services issues. So I already talked about that. And most importantly, I want this job for the right reasons. There are some people in here, and I'm going to say that are not in here for the right reasons.
10 seconds.
But I am here to fight for the student body. I'm here to fight to better the ag experience, and that is why I want this position. So this election in this position,
Please
and
finish
it will
your
give us that. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Yeah, are there any questions for the chair? We'll begin with Senator Mockford. Or
Senator
the chair, pardon me, Senator.
Senator Mockford, College of Agricultural Life Sciences. My quick question for you as Student Services Chair, what are your thoughts on the lack of dining options on the West Campus?
Yeah, well, that's a big problem that I agree with you. There are a lot of students who bring that up, and that's something that we're definitely going to be fighting for. I talked to the SS chair about that yesterday. So if SS Vice President, excuse me. So if I am to be put into this position, that would be something that I deal with. And I talked about those policy goals, but these are not the only things that we're working on. Because I'm going to be director of policy of SS, I need to have a wide range of ideas. So about King Hall and the rec center and things like that, I need to know those things, and I will and I do. So does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Senator Rodriguez.
Senator Rodriguez, Liberal Arts Caucus. Just so we have some clarity under your work as the diversity ad hoc chair member, was there any actual legislation that passed through your committee?
No, there was no actual legislation, but what we did, and you can't explain the committee, is we went to administrators, we talked to them, and we told them what students were saying to, especially the underrepresented. I also talked to, I talked to 2 big organizations, Family Interracial Council for Minority, Council of Multicultural Affairs. And I talked to them about those issues, and I also talked to other students who were a part of the underrepresented groups about what we can do to better the climate.
Commissioner follow-up?
I'm moving to the back. We'll now go to Senator Argamany.
So this is something that affects me and many other.
Reminder just to say, you know,
Senator Argamany, College of Engineering. This is something that affects me and many others personally, but do you have any specific plans or maybe plan of actions, game plans of the sort of how to tackle the difficulty of students getting to White Creek Disability Services for testing and further, transportation and how they bring it up to teachers, because that's altogether a very difficult issue.
Yeah, the displacement of student services to White Creek has been something that a lot of students have been sad about, because it does put that access strain. So one of the things that I plan on doing is either getting a bus stop that is dedicated just to going there and back. And then there's some other things that me and the SS chair the SS vice president talked about, but that I don't want to get into because I don't know how it could be, put in place. And that, we're going to try to get in place, but I don't want to say it and then it doesn't happen. But that is the biggest thing that we're going to try to do. Get a bus stop that goes straight there and straight back. That is our plan. Well, that's mine. With that answer.
With a minute,
Yeah.
with a minute and a half remaining, we'll go to Pro Tem Finley.
Pro Tem Finney, would you be open to the idea of food trucks in West Campus? Setting up a restaurant or something in West Campus takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's understandable. Would you be open to the idea, along with VP of SS, Mr. Woods, talking to local food trucks and talking with transportation services and finding out if there's a way for the food trucks to come into lot 72 for them to line up over there?
Yeah. That's definitely something that we can have conversations with the administrators about, because we do want to have more options there. So that I know that I'm open, and hopefully the SS vice president is open to that as well. So with that.
Just a reminder to remain standing with the question. Senator Rodriguez.
Senator Rodriguez, Liberal Arts.
Yeah, 35 seconds.
How would you propose to fix Route 34, the Walmart route, which was previously Route 34? Would you proceed to extend the route, which it added about a 30-minute ride to the riders, or would you add another bus route?
This is what I'll say to that. We are in conversation. The ball has already started rolling on getting this stuff put back again. I know
10 seconds.
Senator Trevino has been working on that with the TSAC committee. So I don't know the specifics on how they're going to do it.
Please finish your sentence.
And so we're going to push for that.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
All right, we'll now move into a presentation by the individual's character witness. I think I might have forgot to mention this when we were doing discussions about elections, but there are also 5 minutes that are for your character witness. So would you like to?
Yeah, it's Christian Trevino.
All right. And traditionally, the character witness, or not traditionally, the code does not take questions.
Do I step back?
Okay.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
My name is Christian Trevino. Y'all all currently know me. I'm an off-campus senator serving the Student Services Chair. And I wanted to start by encouraging you to vote for Ja'Cory Clark as your next Student Services Chair. Ja'Cory is one of the most extraordinary individuals I've ever had the pleasure of meeting at Texas A&M. Most of us can agree he's extraordinarily qualified for this job. He has chaired the Campus Climate and Inclusion Committee, served extensively in both the Finance and Community Relations Committees, and he thinks before he talks. He is an active member of Brotherhood of Christian Aggies, on top of Rec Sports Advisory Council, Student Health Advisory Service Committee, and Maroon and White Leadership Fellows. Long story short, he's super involved, and he loves to serve our university. I'm really not here to talk about all of that, most of which everyone knows. It's common knowledge, he just talked about it. I'm here to talk about Ja'Cory and things that he's far too humble to admit. Ja'Cory knows struggle. He was born to a single mother, and I mean, I'm not here to politicize that by any means. But what I'm here to say is that with that, there comes certain struggles and just building a character that we might not appreciate, because most of us are here blessed to have a stable household with 2 parents. So going to that, despite battling all this adversity growing up, I can honestly say he's one of the most genuine and caring people I've had the pleasure of meeting at A&M. He's hardworking. He's a hardworking individual with a never say die attitude. He has one of the biggest hearts I've ever met. He's willing to do whatever is asked of him or whatever is best for Student Senate. How does this relate to student services? Ja'Cory and I have spoken a great deal about legislation that we're trying to pass, as well as goals for the committee as a whole. From expanding bus routes to dining options to student services. This is a man with great vision for the future. As a member of Senate, he has a great deal of experience writing and sponsoring bills, and would serve as an invaluable resource to senators, new or old. He has a solid plan for our future. He's not here to advance himself, but rather to best serve the student body and Texas A&M Student Senate. One of the chief missions is reaching out to his constituents, and I commend him for that. It's not easy going up to people and just hearing them complain to you the whole time. After all, that's what we are here for, to serve the students, not to play games. We're here to serve the students. wants to inspire others and change lives. And I believe that given the opportunity to serve as student services chair, he would do a marvelous job. I encourage you not only to consider his qualifications, but more importantly his character, when deciding on the next student services chair. And before I end, I just wanted to say that I really commend him for not going out and promising all these things that he's going to do. He's saying, look, this is what we're trying to do. Because it's easy to stand up here on a pedestal and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then one term later, you really stood on what? Nothing. So yeah, we have been in discussions. I really commend him for, he could have come out here and bragged about all the stuff we're planning, but he didn't. Instead, he just spoke about what he's trying to do and really kind of limited to that. So with that, I mean, if you want to ask me questions, go ahead.
That you can't take questions.
Okay.
So that period is now closed. The candidate may leave the room. Yes. And if someone could please go and grab the second candidate. Thank you, EVP Rosenbush. Senator Blair, we're ready to go for you, and you are. Yes, that's fine.
I did not bring a character.
You did not?
No.
Okay. Would you like to ask someone to do your character?
I think I'll be okay, honestly.
Okay.
I think I have good ideas. So.
All right. Sounds good. You have 10 minutes to ring ahead.
All right. Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
My name is Grayson Blair. I'm sure most of you guys have heard me say a couple of things every now and again. Most importantly, I'm the Private Tech SAG Class 2017. Hey! All right, guys. So this is my credibility for Student Services Chair. I think I have a lot of good ideas. So my SGA experience, 60-day session, I was in the CR committee. I was in the inclusion subcommittee after what happened on February 9th. And then now I'm in rules and regs, and then I'm in the disability and mental health subcommittee. Okay, so just a little bit about me. Pre-law society, I graduated high school with honors, but I mean, who counts high school these days? I'm a political science major, comm minor. I got to appeal the comm minor because I was over 90 hours. It was just a big misunderstanding, but I only need one more class. But that's my advisor stuff. Okay. I enjoy surfing adventures to Galveston. That's probably one of my favorite things to do is go to Galveston and go surfing with my best friend. He lives in Dallas now, and he's just he's from Hawaii, so it's really great to surf with him. Reg Sports Guru, let that stand for itself. Another interesting caveat, I consider SGA a full-time job. I've said that multiple times, and I will stand by that. This is a full-time position. Seriously. So student services experience. I have a relationship with the head of psychology and student counseling services department, Maggie Gardner. Back whenever Kane Hall was first moved away, this is my campaign was in the spring was to actually hopefully get it moved back sooner than 2019, 2020. But the issue that was brought up to me was that there was a lot of low staff, is what we found out. A little bit more is I'm in the disability subcommittee, and we're Kyle's got all these people. He's just got an absolute Rolodex of people in student services. Kyle's great. Let's see. I have a relationship with Courtney Bryant, the regional director of marketing in Chartwells, and Harrison Davies. He's right under her. I meet with Harrison. You know, at any time I have any issue, if I'm in Sabisa, for instance, I was in Sabisa at 10:30 in the morning, and they didn't have any breakfast food out. They didn't have any food out on the main thing. I texted them. I was like, hey man, like, I am here and I'm trying to eat a lot of food, and that was actually healthy in the healthy section, and it's not here. So what's going on? So he immediately brought up, the head honcho director guy at Sabisa, and he was like, look, At 10:30, we clear out and we get ready for the 11 o'clock rush. So if you're in Sabisa, just 10:30 to 11. They're not closed, but it's one of those times. So and I go to Courtney if there's any issues. So yeah. The interesting thing that Courtney said, I was very surprised. I was in an interview. The way I met her was an interview for Chartwell's over the summer for an internship. And she stated that she has never been so disconnected from an SGA because she had worked with other universities. So basically what I did was I set up a line of communication between SGA and Chartwell's. Okay, the issues that we're having. There have been less people using, a lot of this is, I've read this in the battalion. A lot of this is true. This is what Ms. Gardner told us. And so yeah, there's less people using student services at White Creek, even though the student population is at an all-time high. Another issue is that riding the bus to the White Creek location is not beneficial to students living across campus, especially students that have disabilities or survivors of sexual assault. Another issue is that there are less dining options on campus due to Fire Square closing. And Courtney personally told me on multiple occasions, and I'm sure she'll say it again, that she has lost sleep over Fire Square closing. So don't think that Chartwell's is the bad guy here on dining. It more comes down to the university master plan and things like that. So Sabisa is already at maximum capacity. My vision for the student services chair, I'm going to get students to White Creek faster and more efficiently. I know Joseph wrote an opinion column. How long did it take you to get there? Was it 30 minutes or 45 minutes? Okay, you can't answer it. I'm going to say 30 minutes is what I thought. It could be more. So yeah, 30-minute bus ride is not cool. That means they just don't have it.
5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I want to be able to grant students the ability to report being a survivor of sexual assault in a proper manner, because riding a bus for 30 minutes in public is not going to help survivors. I'm going to grant the Open Door project to continue running at full capacity for the Disability Services Subcommittee and to be able to get automatic door openers for students with disabilities at Texas A&M. I'm also going to help the Sexual Assault Subcommittee to help report being a survivor in a private manner that will allow the university to lead the investigation. I'm also going to grant Aggies more flexibilities with their dining plans while hopefully rolling over their meal plans, as Chartwell's is just absorbing our money, and this would prevent students from wasting their meal trades. You're probably thinking, how is Grayson going to do all this? So yeah, basically I'm going to get more buses to White Creek. So if we get more buses, that would eliminate the issue of low efficiency and 30-minute ride times. And I'll also help with the disability and sexual assault committees to create effective legislation. And the other thing I will do is share my relationship with administration to other senators and create new relationships along the way. And with that, I'm open for questions.
All right. With that, he has yielded the floor to questions, and we will begin questions with Senator Couillard.
Senator Couillard, College of Arts. So you said you wanted to get more buses going to White Creek. How do you plan on paying for those buses, or have you talked to transportation about that at all?
Right, and that's a good question. Apparently there are some buses that we are not currently using that are operational, and that, transportation is already, I'm sure you've already heard that they came here and told us, I think it was last year, that they're already at their wits' end, like their legs end of budgeting. But the issue is that the services are fine out there, because originally I wanted to help move the services back to main campus, but what senators have told me is that the services are fine, just getting people there. And it's become a real problem. And I mean, even in the battalion, they're writing about how they're not comfortable riding the bus after being under anxiety or depression or being a victim of sexual assault. Surviving.
And I'm going to Senator Argamini.
Senator Argamini, College of Engineering. Have you personally ever ridden a bus from main campus to White Creek?
From main campus to White Creek? No, I ride my bike. And I was taking that from Joseph's opinion column, and I know I can't answer, but he wrote an opinion. Have you read? Okay. Okay. Well, if you read the opinion column, it's, he makes a thing about how it takes a very long time. So, and that's where I got the credibility for that signal.
Permission to follow up.
I'll move you to the back. Okay, I'll move you to the back of the Senator Powers.
Senator Powers, College of Education. Just to clarify, you mentioned the possibility of operational buses being available to handle the problem with the White Creek. Can you clarify where you got that information, seeing as that is pretty pertinent to students and that may be confusing to anyone watching?
Of course, of course. Apparently, to my knowledge, I have gotten that from the Disability Subcommittee Chair. He has stated that to me, that there are buses that are smaller buses, but are still usable and that have wheelchair lifts. These buses are supposed to be usable, and what I plan on talking to transportation about.
Thank you.
Senator Roberts.
Senator Roberts, College of Liberal Arts. I know you said that you talked about the meal plan rollover, and I was wondering, how in detail have you talked to it about chart rolls? Have you talked about it rolling over till we graduate, or just the fall and spring semester?
Okay, so right now, Chartwells is basically absorbing our money. So whatever package you buy, whether it be 150 meal plans, 150 meal plans. Right now, I'm at about 30, and it's kind of hard to think about it because some days I'll use it and some days I won't use it. I have spoken to Courtney about this, and she sounded pretty solid on the fact that they're not going to, roll it over. But the issue is that they're taking our money basically in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably more, probably in the millions of dollars. Basically, they're just taking our money. And I know it's something that a lot of people want is meal trade rollover, at least till the next semester. We can to roll over similar to the dining dollars is what I want. So.
Thank you.
Again, Senator Gannon. Wow.
Senator Argamany.
I had it right.
So
You have
just
1
to
minute.
briefly preface, I'm a student who does in fact take his tests at the testing center. And it takes, on a normal day, in the middle of the day, around 45 minutes for me to get there. And I don't know if you're anxious or not before you take an exam, but being concerned about making 2 different buses to make it to the other side of campus in time from the engineering buildings really sucks. So to put it lightly, is there any plan or reconsideration of a way to maybe get students who are testing there temporary parking for the time of their exam?
Right, and the thing is that this issue has honestly been recently been brought to light. I think that the first issue was moving it, so they deleted the whole building where the garage was, and they moved it over. So it was just getting the services set up. Now it's to the point when the services are okay and the portables for what they are, we just need to get people there. So that's the next plan of action, is getting people there.
All right, with that, actually, that's perfect. Period of question and answer is now closed. Time has expired. And we do not have a character witness, is that correct? Okay. The presenter has deferred his right to a character witness unless there's someone that would be, I would encourage you to think about it, but he's a good guy. But if not, then we'll go ahead and move into a period of debate. So just a reminder, could you go ahead and get up there? 1 is part, 2 is, so just a reminder, the way debate works when we're doing elections, you hold up a 1 if you want to vote for the candidate who was nominated and presented first, which is Senator Clark. If you hold up a 2, that means that you're voting, or not voting, probably voting for, but you're going to debate for Senator Blair. And therefore, the debate is 15 minutes, goes back and forth at 2.5-minute intervals, and yeah, and so it starts with debate for candidate 1. And reminder, you're debating for a candidate, you're not voting against the other candidate. And in the past we've done where you cannot say their name, but my understanding is that interpretation is not completely correct. As long as you're referring to that candidate, it's part of the content of the debate that you're bringing forth. So, is there any debate for candidate 1? Senator Kubiar, you have 2.5 minutes starting Howdy.
Senator Red, College of Liberal Arts. Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
I'm here to debate for Senator Clark. And number one, I've known him ever since he joined Senate as a new senator on campus. I actually didn't know he was a transfer student. I think that just shows his passion to come to A&M and want to be part of the student body first. As we are enjoying what's going on here, I think he has the experience necessary for this position. He's chaired a committee before. He's been part of multiple committees in the Senate and taken on leadership roles not only within Senate, but in other organizations outside Senate, which gives you good perspective on different students around campus. I think he speaks eloquently. He gets his ideas across clearly. He already has relationships with the administration. And with that, I yield my time to Senator Wilson.
Howdy, Senator Lander, Corpus Caucus. I just kind of want to reiterate some of what she said. I actually have known candidate one, Senator Clark, for a while. I actually met him my junior year of high school. We were both involved in FFA. I actually have been to the one Sonic in Sweeny, Texas, just as good as any other Sonic. But ever since I met him there, and even getting to see him when he transferred to A&M, I was very excited for him to come here because I knew his involvement in leadership in high school was already showing how genuine and caring of a leader that he is. So I knew that from the start, but seeing him coming to Senate whenever I was with him in the 68 session last year, he really jumped into Senate really quickly, got a lot done, was able to be a chair in his first year of the ad hoc subcommittee, and everything he did, he put 100% passion into. He's a very eloquent speaker. He's very knowledgeable about what he's talking about. And if he will always make an effort to approach people, get to know them, get to know the issues, research everything. He takes his job very seriously, and his track record in the past confirms that absolutely. With that, I would like to begin my time with Senator Power.
Senator Power, television.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Senator Power.
Okay, awesome. 30 seconds is enough to share with you this quote that I actually have on my placard from one of the first meetings that I had in the 68th Senate session, where Ja'Cory Clark, as other senators have echoed, truly showed his character through and through. He said in regards to talking about the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, we have to make sure that each and every person feels like a part of the Aggie family. And awesome.
Is there any debate for candidate 2? That would be Senator Blair. Oh, Chair Riojas. You have 2.5 minutes starting Howdy.
Previous question.
Oh, previous question has been moved. It could have been the debate was one-sided, but were you debating? Sorry.
Information.
Yes.
Here we go. CA. The reason I moved the previous question, if it's going to be one-sided, debate will stop. I just saw the people still holding ones up. I didn't want debate to continue.
Right, it wouldn't have.
It wouldn't?
No, it would not.
I rescind my.
Okay.
We got one.
Yeah, it was actually.
Okay. Then I'm sorry, I failed to recognize. Senator Rodriguez.
All right, Senator Rodriguez, Liberal Arts. Me and Grayson don't necessarily agree on a lot of things. But I will have to say one thing. Grayson has been 100% genuine in the way that he's approached me with any issue. He doesn't like to sugarcoat things, and it may not always be, popular. But I do have to respect the fact that out of a lot of the senators who I have met or have seen, he's one of the only ones who's actually come up to me and talked to me as a person rather than as a senator. He's stopped me in the Bush School and just to talk to me about class or about what's going on. So take that with a grain of salt. I mean, he's a genuine guy. But yeah, I yield my time to the floor.
Floor has been yielded to. We'll now move back to debate for candidate 1, beginning with Senator Wang.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Ja'Cory Clark is probably one of the most inspiring individuals that I've actually met in my time here at Texas A&M. I was on the Diversity Commission last year, and so we worked very closely with the inclusion, the little committee, and I got to write my first piece of legislation with him during the 68 And he has continuously shown again and again integrity and commitment to the student body towards voicing minority students' concerns, towards really ensuring an equitable environment for all students here on campus. And even after he knew that he wasn't going to be coming back, or he had a time when he wasn't sure if he was going to be coming back for the 69th session, and he was still extremely committed in maintaining the relationships that he had developed during his time as an chair of the committee. And I think that that shows a lot of character. It means that he's really committed to his job, his purpose, and he knows exactly what needs to be done for the university. So with that, I yield my time to, I move to previous question.
Previous question has been moved. Seeing multiple seconds. All in favor of moving the previous question, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. And the ayes chair, that passes. We'll now move into a period of voting. And I believe that must be a ballot vote. Okay, yes, it must be a ballot vote. So. Yep, this is going to be the fastest ballot pass out in the history of ballot pass outs. We have 28 minutes to knock out 2 pieces of old business, 3 pieces of new business. I believe that we can do it. And there's also a presentation I want to get to from a particular senator. So hopefully we can do this fast. So let's roll. Hey, Cameron. So in order for this to be fast though, guys, I'm going to have to ask you to stay in order to the best of your ability. Keep it down. That way we can just move flawlessly into the next thing. Thank you.
Hey, would you hear me?
I was going to ask you to take this, but then I realized I didn't know if you passed out.
Why I didn't offer two in my finger, they're all greasy. I went and get them burgers.
How you doing?
I was I was like, standing burns all the calories.
Oh, we're good. What do you do? Oh, can someone take 2 out to the actual candidates?
I was like, would I be accused? And you're like, no. I was like,
Yeah, so I was and then what I would do is that'd be like a really clear way to say out to bottom. I so it looks like starting but so we just use some really curious it might be smart to check How can you refute that if you disagree? But I don't necessarily. That's something that I think is formatted. But I think that's pretty simple. Yeah, you can find, there are people who can do that. And if I need to like send out emails you won't even get that in your committee report. Yeah, good with section you. If we got time to do it. Please stay in order. Hey guys, we only have 23 minutes. Please get in order. All right. So I would like to congratulate Senator Clark. He is now our Student Services Chair. So, someone please go get the chair. You get piece of old business up. 16 on the 17.
Do solemnly swear to faithfully execute to the best of my abilities the duties of the office of Student Services Chair
the duties of the office of Student Services Chair
for Texas A&M Student Government Association,
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
to uphold the honor of the same,
to uphold the honor of the same,
to protect the welfare of the student body,
to protect the welfare of the student body,
and to promote good relations between the students and those concerned with the university.
and to promote good relations with students, between students and those concerned with the university. Thank you so much.
We'll now move into a presentation of SB 6917, the Above Reproach Act. Congratulations, Senator Clark. Go ahead and start presenting. Please stay in order.
In the interest of brevity, I think we all know what the Reproach Act is addressing. We talked a lot about culture tonight, kind of the alcohol culture that we are working to improve. All this bill is saying, if you want to scroll down to the left where it be enacted, we're just inserting 2 sentences in the code. In accordance with the Aggie values of integrity and selfless service, these meetings must not be held at a location in which 51% or more of the profit comes from the sale of alcohol, nor will alcohol consumption during these meetings be allowed. That's also inserted in another part of the code. This is addressing IA meetings, committee meetings, and official general meetings like we're having tonight. Now I noticed if you have questions, you ask me questions. Overall, voting against this bill would be saying your right to drink for 2 hours a week is more important than serving students. Don't believe that. Thanks, Diego.
Thank you. We'll move into a period question and answer, beginning with Chair Rosine.
Chair Rosine goes regulated. Just to quickly clarify, where are you making, like, where are you inserting this in the code?
Okay, so it's Article 9, Section 1. I thought it was 6. Roman numerals are hard. Poli-sci. This is talking about. So the first part is talking about internal affairs. All internal affairs committee. If you read. Oh, sorry, the second one. Confused. First one's talking about how each senator has to serve on a different committee and talking about the responsibilities. Committee chairman. Committee chairman shall be responsible for holding a meeting between each senate meeting we thought was appropriate. There, and then the second part is just the same thing for IA, talking about how, when and where IA meetings should be held, how that should be announced.
Are there any other questions to the bill presenters? Senator Walter.
So say you have a committee meeting, and then after the committee meeting, some people who are socially like friends, they decide to go like chippies or something, that should be like.
Oh, Senator Walter. Yes.
Senator Walter made the business caucus.
I'm sorry, that's out of order. We're too late in the semester for that. But in the future, so if you want to ask your question again, but you have one out of work. So if you'd like to ask your question again, Senator Walker. Yes, Senator Walker.
Senator Walter, Base Business Caucus. So say you have a committee meeting and then afterwards, and people on the committee who are friends want to go like Jimmy's or like the Dixie Chicken or something, would that be like grounds for impeachment or?
Oh, no. And I want to clarify, this is not getting rid of soap cones, it's not getting rid of alcohol for any senators ever. As I said last meeting, I also drink alcohol. We all know. But I don't want people amending the code while they're drinking. I don't think it's appropriate to talk about legislation. Other students that's all this thing, just for official meetings. And that's pretty standard. I mean, I would like to remind you, fish people can't hang out and drink together. It's not the same at all. Just during official meetings where we're doing official business, not in cookouts.
All right, are there any other questions for the bill presenters? Seeing none, period question and answer is now closed. Will you please vacate the floor. Is there any debate against SB 6917, the above reproach act? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. We'll move into a period voting. All in favor of passing SB 6917, the above reproach act, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes chair that passes. Here's the chair that passes unanimously. We'll now move to a period presentation on SB 6918, the Censorship Amendment Act. Okay. And you have the bill authors, please come forward, and you have 10 minutes starting.
Howdy, it's exactly what the name implies. There's a motion to censure, and that just slightly, there's some add-ons that you can add on if it passes, and that's all it's changing to limit question and answer privileges, because pretty much every other privilege is like permitted, or like, yeah. I yield my time if there's questions.
Okay, Senator Lander.
Senator Lander, corporate, is it, just make sure, is it clerical? It says censorship, it says censure.
Yes, that's clerical.
Yeah,
that would be clerical. If the first 30 minutes could just note that, because I could easily miss that. Any other questions? Seeing none, period question and answer is now closed. We move to period voting. All in favor of passing SB 6918, the Censorship Amendment Act, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Here's the chair that passing answer. We'll now move to the period of new business, beginning with SB 6919, the flag room programming bill. So if the bill authors and the sponsor could please come forward. So as a reminder to the body, anyone may write a bill for the Senate as long as they have a senator who sponsors that bill. You'll have 10 minutes starting now.
Howdy, Senate.
Hi.
My name is Brian O'Hara. I'm the president of the Memorial Student Center. And so we, in discussions with University Center Special Events, wanted to extend this conversation to the Student Senate to gauge student opinion on bringing food and drink into the flag room, specifically during programs that may be put on by student activities, the MSC, other departments within the student affairs. Currently, there are a set of regulations that University Center and Special Events, who manage the facility, have 4 programs that limit student use of these facilities, and the living room campus, aka the flag room, is the premier space within the MSC where we hope to bring students together in programs to debate issues, develop a sense of community, and pay respect to tradition. And so really the effect of this bill is to turn the flag room from what it currently is, which is a study lounge, a place that you go to take a nap, or a place where you go to study, back to its original intent, where pre-renovation, we would have programs there regularly, not all the time. And part of this is lifting the restrictions on food and drink, given that there have been risk mitigation strategies for facilities. This would still need to be something that USEN signs off on, but we do want to encourage a little bit more flexibility so long as those mitigation strategies are implemented to maintain the space.
Howdy, Senator.
Howdy.
My name is Dakota Buston. I'm the Executive VP of Programs for the Memorial Student Center. Currently, our committees have a number of programs that they want to propose that they utilize the flag room to engage in important dialogues, build community, and support the sharing of Pam's fantastic traditions. And we believe that passing this bill would put us in a great position in our committees to be able to do that, as well as student organizations for cross-campus.
Hi, my name is Aiden Mohammed. I'm from the Engineering Caucus, and what I want to tackle is this: that the MSC is known as the living room campus. It is the living room where you can kind of go to there, kind of study, kind of hang with friends. And in our living room, you would congregate over food. So this lifting this restriction kind of allow during programming, you got to implement programming and bring food in, and just kind of like, can I hang out and kind of relax? So.
Yeah, and I want to maintain one last thing is that this does not seek to change the atmosphere of the flag room for individuals. Food and drink still being discouraged for individuals, but with programs that have risk mitigated its use to maintain the facilities would be allowed, given USEN saying that we've done an adequate job of mitigating those risks. We'll yield the rest of the time to the questions.
Fantastic, thank you. We'll begin period question and answer with Senator Trevino.
Senator Trevino on campus, could you expand on have you had any talks with administration yet? So could you expand on that? I think this is a fantastic idea.
Absolutely. So this all rooted or started with the MSC wanting to put in a program in the flag room that helps connect students to resources that they may not know about. Student resources like disability services, student counseling services, and a lot of other services that are within student affairs. The main draw of this is having a regular meeting space, giving out a treat that attracts people to come in, frozen yogurt, and connect them with the information that they may not receive any other way. With that, we've received a little bit of pushback from administrators because in the policies currently, it does not allow any food or beverages in the space, period. We talked to the Associate Director of University Center and Special Events, Stephen Sinkle, and Director of USEN, Billy Gilwitz. And both of them had come to the conclusion they're willing to work with us in a number of other areas that are concerned with programming in the flag room, sense of time, space, and staffing resources. But they drew a hard line with food and beverage because they wanted student opinion in on this, and that's why we're presenting it to you.
All right, we'll now move to Senator Walther.
Senator Walther, Mays Caucus, did you guys talk to them about why food and beverages were banned from the flag room in the first place?
Yes, so okay. Food and beverage, we've had a couple of disagreements in kind of a logic behind it, in that the same couches are from the flag room are used in the Respect Lounge, and University Center Special Events is perfectly okay with us doing the program in this Respect Lounge. They really don't want to encourage students to bring in food and beverage outside of those programming hours, and they're afraid that by allowing it at any time, it would encourage students to do it in the free time. But there are currently signs that are posted in the flag room saying there are no food and beverages allowed in the space, and that would be maintained, as well as special signage that would be posted during the program elaborating or maintaining that this is an exception only for the program.
We'll now move to Senator Diaz.
Senator Diaz, College of Architecture. If this bill is passed, it would be under the University Center events space as much like any of the other rooms in the MSC, right? And so how would this be available to other organizations? So would it just be like in those rooms and anybody that's an organization on campus would be able to use this?
Thank you, absolutely. This is not something that's just restricted to the Memorial Student Center as a department, but it is also open to the Corps Cadets, RHA, student activities, any student organization that would like to use this space, just as they would any meeting space in the MSC, would be brought to the same standards as they would for MSC 246A, Rudder. It would abide by the same regulations. Right now, there's a special rule that prohibits food and drink being brought into flag room during programs.
We'll now move to Senator Krogh.
Senator Krogh, off-campus caucus.
2 minutes.
You addressed the issue of the couches. I'm just wondering, with the atmosphere of the MSC, is there another particular reason perhaps having to do with kind of the somber atmosphere of the flag room in particular that might be having to do with the memorial? You might want to get looking into.
Absolutely. Thank you. There are several places. The MSC is dedicated to all Aggies who have given their lives in any conflict, past, present, or future. And that dedication is important to maintain in several areas of the building, but I wouldn't describe the flag room as a somber space for them. Currently, it is quiet because it's being treated as a study lounge. But in its conception, since 1950, when the building was open, programs happen in the flag room, whereas we're not advocating for programs to happen in the Hall of Honor or the Veterans Lounge. Those two areas that are reserved for reflection and to really be dedicated to that, to those Aggies who have given their lives. And so the flag room at times is used for reflection, like muster displays, but it isn't always used in that respect. We'd like to, in the living room campus, engage students in discussion, build a sense of community like you find in your living room. It's not a place where you're quiet. It's not a place where you're afraid to make a mess. You keep up and you clean after yourself, but it's a place to engage with each other. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, period question and answer is now closed. I will send this bill to the Student Services Committee. Thank you very much. We'll now move into a period of new business. Oh, we're still in new business. We'll now move to SB 6920, the Subcommittee Improvement Act. If the bill authors can please come forward. I would like to remind the body that we have 9 minutes. So, and this is a first reading. So we'll come up again. So, yeah, 10 minutes starting out.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So this is just a brief amendment to our code and bylaws, further elaborating on the use of subcommittees. Currently in the code, there's only one place in the entire code that mentions the subcommittees in Senate, and that is under the power of the Student Services Committee Chairman to appoint subcommittees. Nowhere in there does it state that subcommittees have to be approved by the Senate body, or that they have to even be related to any specific committee. They could be over anything. So what this bill does, scroll down a little, it just goes over each chairman, giving the power to each chairman to appoint a subcommittee that is related to the purpose and mission of that committee. Just goes through each committee chairman and adds that, removes the student services chairman from appointing any subcommittees deemed appropriate. And then further down, it defines kind of the subcommittee process, saying that subcommittees need to be approved by a 2/3 majority for both the subcommittee chairman as well as subcommittee members. And kind of some general duties for each, the chair and the members. That's about all I got. Any questions?
All right. We'll have a period question and answer beginning with Senator Clark.
Chair Clark.
Or Chair Clark, my apologies.
Chair Clark, Student Services. Permission to practice.
No.
Okay.
Really? We have 6 minutes. We're out of here.
No, but my question is, I read in the bill that it says that the subcommittee chair will be able to be appointed, well, voted on by the whole student body. Would you be amendable in the committee process to help you change that to the committee having the power to approve that subcommittee?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, like anything like that, like one has to be amendable, come to my committee. Anybody can talk. Just feel free, come in, express your thoughts on the bill. That's all. Cool.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, period question answer now closed. I'll send this to the Rules and Regulations Committee. When I move to a presentation on SB 6921, the Executive Vice President Act. Yeah, 10 minutes around.
Okay, guys, Senate. So this bill is basically just kind of further defining roles of the Executive Vice President. With this, it brings the Executive Vice President to the first in the line of succession, right behind the student body president and right before the speaker. Really, that's the biggest change, as well as making the Executive Vice President position an elected position. There's quite a few like little changes in further defining the roles, and Cameron can elaborate.
So there's just been a number of like talks, you know, in the like after the SEC change and whatnot, on how we're one of the only schools that don't elect anybody in the executive branch other than the SVP, and there were a lot of talks with these other schools and a lot of talks between student body president and executive vice president over this. The election commissioner, these talks are still ongoing, but this is the beginning of getting our ideas to fruition. And it's going to be it's going to take a while within committee just to iron out like all y'all's thoughts, all our thoughts, just make sure everything is really thought out well and planned well. So this is not planned to be a once right here committee and come out. It'll be in committee for a while. I mean, the idea is get it passed by December. More than anything, just because we want to be ready for next election, but it's not a 1, 2, 3 punch. It's going to be in committee for a while. We're going to hear a lot of talks, hear a lot of people, have talks ourselves, just to make sure it's really what we want. Open to questions.
Are there any questions for the bill presenters? Seeing none, Senator Hernandez.
Senator Hernandez, from Campus Caucus. I have not gotten a chance to read over the entirety of the bill, but does it say anything regarding co-running?
So the idea right now is I don't know, I can't tell you the exact wording on our bill right now, but after talking with the election commissioner, the idea is that they will file separately and file for co-candidacy. The idea behind that is because nobody in our elections run together. 5UL does it, class councils does it, so we're not going to make the exception. And IT wise, we don't know exactly how to go about that, and we don't see a reason to, but we don't. I mean that's going to be part of the campaigning, along with everybody else. If you have an AVP you want, and we're discussing, and we don't see a whole lot of people just running by themselves for AVP, but that may happen. That happens elsewhere, and so there's the chance that it will happen, but I don't see any problem in that.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions? Seeing none, I'll close the period of question and answer. Send this to the Rules and Regulations Committee. We'll now move into a period of open session. Are there any bills for, yes, Senator Turpin? Or Chair Turpin?
Chair Turpin, hi. So I just said in the bill really quick, can
you please give a brief description of the bill?
So this is a tuition re-regulation bill. It's in a very simple form right now, and we're going to refine more in committee, but basically what it's asking the state of Texas to do is to put a cap on how much tuition rates at public state universities can rise. So that's the basic description.
All right, is there a second?
I have a second.
You have multiple seconds? You may present your bill.
I already did.
All right, great. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I will send this to the legislative.
I have a motion.
Yes, what is your motion?
Motion to move to executive reports.
It's been moved to go into executive reports. Multiple seconds. All in favor of moving into a period of executive reports, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
The ayes of the chair, that passes. Yes, Senator Blair.
Senator Blair, Lawrence, I move to adjourn.
Motion has been made to adjourn. Are there any seconds? All in favor of, that requires a 1-6. There wasn't a 1-6.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes, but let's do executive reports.
All right. There was not a 1-6 second. Also, you were out of order.
Yeah.
And so we will now move to a period of executive report, beginning with SVP Hannah Wimberly.
I will keep it super brief, Senate. Howdy.
Howdy.
So I have 3 important things to talk to you about. The first one is a very exciting proposition that we have coming up and we'll be working on. It's called the Thanksgiving game. So LSU, I'm sure y'all saw, we're not going to get them right now, and I promise that y'all will understand why in a minute here. So y'all saw the flooding in Baton Rouge back a couple of months ago. And in the short term, it was absolutely devastating. In the long term, it's probably been even more so and more than the news has really shown. So at LSU, 20% of faculty and staff have lost their homes, 20%. 300 students are now unenrolled from the university because they cannot attend because they lost their homes or financial obligations or a combination of a lot of different things. There are students who attend class during the day and then go home to literally build their houses. So in the spirit of our game being on Thanksgiving and in the giving spirit of Texas A&M Aggies, SGA is going to be spearheading along with a lot of other groups on campus a fundraiser for LSU. And they're I think it's going to be fantastic. And really, the details are still being worked on right now in terms of how are we going to collect this money, where's it going to go. So there's a lot of logistics to be worked on right now. So when I have more updates about that, we will be sending that out. I think we can get hundreds of thousands of dollars. If we wanted to get $50,000, that's 76 cents per student in Texas A&M, and I think we can get a whole heck of a lot more than that because Aggies are awesome. So be on the lookout for more information about that. Last week, myself and a few members of my team had a meeting with the CIO of the university. She's new on the job. She's 6 weeks in, and they had a lot of great questions for us. And they wanted to know about what student government thinks, and they wanted to know about what the students think about a lot of different things going on in the IT realm of Texas A&M because there's a lot that goes on there. So they're excited to form a really strong working partnership with us that really hasn't existed in the past. So that's going to be a great thing. And then lastly, back in the early fall, Jason Cook approached us and asked if we could get an advisory board of students set up that we could have report to him and talk about issues relating to athletics with the quote unquote common student. So students that aren't student athletes, they're not really associated with Texas A&M athletics in any way. But so we set that up and we had our first meeting and it was fantastic. And they got such great feedback that we'll be having another meeting in 2 weeks. But big things that we're talking about are basketball ticket pull and football ticket pull. Because there's a lot of issues that go along with them. So if there are any things that you have experienced with either or, please shoot me or Dan an email and we will take that to them. And if you'd like to get involved with that committee, please let us know. But in the interest of time, that's all I've got. Any questions? Beat the hell out of Alabama, guys.
All right, I don't know why I did that. I'll move to executive report Chief Justice James. I have one. I will make, you will let me speak. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'll be very quick. You can just, thank you. All right. So howdy, Senate. Howdy. I just wanted to comment in particular about what has happened today. And in particular, I mean, I can just say it, the impeachment. Using euphemisms. But I just wanted to be very quick about the Aggie core value of respect. And the fact that the two individuals that we did impeach are still Aggies. They're still fighting Texas values. I would encourage each and every one of you to treat them with the same level of respect as you would treat every other Aggie. It really bothered me to hear a hiss. Regardless of who it is, who's directed toward, please not hiss towards other Aggies. And I would also encourage you to consider the way that you treat other people in this room who you disagree with. There are a lot of times where we get very heated. There are a lot of times where things get very difficult, and that's understandable. We're talking about real issues that matter to students, and emotions are going to fly high. But at the end of the day, we're all human, and we're all fighting Texas Aggies, and that supersedes any individual's belief in any individual's whatever it may be. And just keep that in mind. I really encourage you to continue to get to know one another in a different way. I'm going to be working on a way that we can get all of us into a room where we're not debating. So with that, I'm not going to take up any more of your time, and I yield the questions.
Any questions? Let's wrap this up. All right, please don't make a whole lot of noise because I need to hear your names. SB Wimberly.
Howdy.
Chief Justice James. Speaker Hood.
Howdy.
Myself. Chair Rosine.
Howdy.
Chair Broach.
Hi.
Chair Ross.
Howdy.
Chair Lovey. Chair Levy. Chair Clark. Chair Turpin.
Howdy.
Chair Noel.
Howdy.
Senator Dilla. Senator Harmony.
Howdy.
Senator Beal. Senator Beal. Senator Blair.
Howdy.
Senator Black.
Howdy.
Senator Foster.
Howdy.
Senator Broom.
Howdy.
Senator Brookins. Howdy. Senator H. Brown.
Howdy.
Senator N. Brown.
Howdy.
Senator Cook. Senator Cox. Senator Compton. Senator Collins. Senator Cruz. Senator Davis. Senator Davis. Senator Day. Senator Day. Senator Daddy. Senator D. Senator Diaz. Senator Eads. Senator Evans. Senator Ferguson. Senator Kimball. Senator Koski. Senator Gonzalez. Senator Hernandez. Senator Lanika. Senator Lanika. Senator Wong. Senator Howie.